Sarah, what's the hardest part about being out here for you?
The hardest part about being out here is being away from my kids.
Okay, I can imagine.
Yeah. Um, you know, I can FaceTime with them and call them when I want, but sometimes that makes it even harder. I think for them and me. So, um, I tend not to do that too much.
Okay. And how often are you able to actually see them? Or have
Uh,
you seen them since you've been out here?
I have seen him a few times since I've been out here. There were a few times, we randomly popped in at his mom's house, like holidays. We randomly popped in for, I think it was Thanksgiving. So I have seen them, uh, and really, we could kind of do that whenever we wanted. His mom doesn't like it too much when we do it, so we really try not to. Plus, it's hard to travel all the way out there, via public transportation. But we try to every once in a while. It just, after we leave, it's hard for them to cope with us being gone. They'll stand at the door and cry for us and stuff. So that's difficult for everybody, I think.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Philadelphia and welcome to another video, bringing you the real life stories of so many that are dealing with homelessness and living on the streets. According to the Philadelphia Office of Homeless Services, 18% of the city's homeless population is unsheltered and living in places unsuitable for human habitation. Today, we dive into part 2 of Sara's story.
Sarah, do you think or do you know that you have any mental health issues?
Um, I mean, I have been diagnosed with mental health issues um, in the past. Usually it's a rehab that'll diagnose me. I think there was maybe one time I was clean and consistently going to see a psychiatrist uh, to help me, stay clean and be comfortable and stuff like that. So I never really know exactly which diagnoses are right. I feel like when they diagnose you in a rehab, it's not 100% accurate because you have withdrawal symptoms for up to a year after you get clean. But I've been diagnosed with everything from depression, anxiety, bipolar. Um, there's been some others that they've questioned but never really like fully diagnosed me with. So I do believe I definitely have the depression and the anxiety. I don't know exactly how bipolar I would consider myself. Um,
Depression and anxiety is pretty normal as far as depression just kind of happens depending on what you're going through.
right.
So I mean, I don't believe that that's a mental health issue. I feel like that's a state that you go through depending on what you're dealing with.
Yeah, I
But I'm
mean,
not I'm not a doctor. I'm not sure. I'm not a therapist. So
yeah, I do
um,
believe there's like situational depression where sometimes it's normal to be depressed. You know what I mean? There are situations where it is normal in your life to become depressed because of them. But if the depression becomes overwhelming to where it's causing other things like it's causing a disruption in your normal lifestyle or causing you to really not take care of yourself properly or think about killing yourself or have like psychotic episodes, stuff like that. I think that's when it becomes a problem. I don't really feel like my depression causes anything disruptive besides drug use, which is pretty disruptive. But like I don't stop taking care of myself when I'm depressed. I don't stop eating. If anything, I might eat a little bit more. I don't think about killing myself. I don't have psychotic episodes. I get high when I'm depressed, and that unfortunately results in me losing a lot of things and not taking care of my life the way I should, I guess. Um, I more so feel like my anxiety is my bigger issue. Um, and it's not so much like outward symptoms of anxiety as it is like just feeling like a feeling of dread all the time. And that's like really uncomfortable. And I can't explain it other than that. It also might cause like impulse issues a little bit with me, but just like the feeling of like an elephant sitting on my chest 24/7 with my anxiety when I'm not getting high is just so uncomfortable. It's unbearable.
Got you. And besides drugs, how do you deal with like stress and depression of like just being out here? I mean, I know you mentioned drugs, but outside of drugs, is there any way or anything that you do
I
when you're
mean,
feeling down or stressed?
yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of really beautiful places in Philly, I've learned, and that's one of my favorite things about this city. And there's a lot of places I can go when I'm feeling stressed or overwhelmed or depressed that I know will just sort of like relieve that a little bit, you know, in a healthy way, rather than just getting high to relieve it. There's a lot of wonderful parks here that I can like relax in. Um, or even just riding the L to people watch and realizing that my situation maybe isn't the end of the world or like the worst situation I could possibly be in because someone always has
Absolutely.
it worse.
Yep. I tell
And I
people
hate
that
to
all the
say that,
time.
that I like look for that, but sometimes that's what I need to feel better. People watching on the train is definitely one of my favorite things to do and will definitely always make me feel a little bit better.
No, I mean, as crazy as that is, that's a part of having gratitude, just knowing that things can always be worse. You know what I'm saying? You can always see somebody that's in a worse situation, and it's not that you're looking down on them, it's just that you're just being grateful for the things you do have or the way things is going for you because you understand that it can be worse.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What do you think is needed for you personally for you to live a better life or the life that you want?
Uh, I think I need to respect and love myself a little bit more, honestly, is where I think I need to get to.
Okay.
And I think once I do that, I'll treat myself better. And I think in treating myself better, I'll want better for myself. I don't really know how to get there right now. Um, but I feel like every day I grow as a person. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I learn a lot about myself being out here. I've learned a lot about myself in general, just being homeless. It's an experience that, like I said before, I'm not mad about. You know,
No, I actually learned so much from people that have experienced this, and it's crazy because I tell people all the time, me doing this, what I learned from people is like enough for me because I know experience is a great teacher.
yeah. So I feel like this whole experience will, in the end, make me a better person.
Absolutely.
And hopefully, I can get to where I need to be, where I start giving myself more of what I deserve. I know, at least I'm at a point where I know that I deserve more. I'm just not at a point where I can really give it to myself yet, you know? I don't know. It sounds complicated when I
Right.
say it out loud, but it makes sense to me.
I know what you mean. Okay, so Sarah, in the beginning we talked about misconception of people's perception of homeless people and things like that. So what would you like to say to anybody that's watching or anybody that may see this? What would you like to express about you or your situation?
Um, I mean, my situation isn't super duper individual, and it isn't like the most special situation or the most important or dire situation. Like I said before, there's always someone that has it worse, and I know that to be true. Uh, but I want everyone to know that I I don't do this for fun. I'm not out here because I enjoy it. Just because I'm not mad about it and I don't completely hate it doesn't mean that I'm out here just happy living my best life, because I'm not.
Okay.
It's definitely a struggle every day. And just like, you know, get to know me as a person before you just judge me as a homeless person. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we're all different, and you know, we all come from different backgrounds, and you know, I think that that means a lot, and people take that for granted a lot. You know, where people come from, and they don't want to take that into account a lot, and I just wish that sometimes they would.
Okay. What advice would you give to anybody so they won't end up in a situation like this?
Boy, that's hard. There's so much I would want to say. You know, obviously, drugs aren't cool. They're a temporary solution, and eventually they'll become the problem. So you don't want to find a solution that's going to be a problem later on. It doesn't really make sense. Find healthy outlets for whatever it is you're going through. Talk to someone. That's the biggest thing, is not to do drugs. And if you do have mental health, don't be ashamed to get help. There's nothing to be ashamed about when it comes to mental health. It actually takes a really brave person to get help when you have mental health issues. So just don't be ashamed of getting help if you have mental health problems, or even if you do already have drug problems. Don't be ashamed to get help, because it actually shows a lot of courage to do so.
Okay. And if things turned around for you and you were given a home and your life changed in a good way today, what would you do?
I Boy, that's a tough question. I mean, besides the obvious of, like, you know, love my children, physically, like, hug my children and kiss my children every day if I could, and you know, really get back into working and everything, I would want to do something to help the homeless people. I think I don't really know what, but I don't see a future of me living, you know, a normal, what they call normal life, and not being homeless without then helping homeless people after experiencing this.
Absolutely. I've gotten that from a few people. You know, they said that's one of the things that they actually want to do in turn after experiencing this. Some people want to, open up organizations and just different things. So that I think is pretty dope. Yeah, just any last thing that you want to say um, to anybody, share anything you
I
want to
mean,
share.
just, I don't know, just don't take every day for granted. Don't take everything you have for granted. You know, love your family, love your children every single day, and um, stay positive, really. It's hard to stay positive some days for me. Uh, you know, I have a lot of ups and downs throughout every day, not even just like day by day. Like throughout the day, I'll have a lot of ups and downs where I'm feeling positive or negative, but just really, really love your family and don't take anything you have for granted, because anyone or anything can be taken away from you in a second, and you can end up right where I'm at in a blink of an eye. And I don't want to see anyone else end up where I'm at. Um, I know it'll happen to some people, but if I could stop it from ever happening to anyone, I would.
Absolutely. Okay, Sarah, man. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your story. And, I'm praying for the best for you. And just continue to keep the faith that things will get better. Continue to put good into the universe so that good comes back to you. And just continue to be a good person out here.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks, Sarah.
Homelessness and addiction continues to be an uphill battle, and I pray that people like Sara and so many others can find the strength and help to rise above it. I will continue to give a voice to the voiceless and help as many people as possible. Thank you for your support. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time with another video.